rise, good rise of water.
That's the Orashi River.
Yes, the Orashi River, yes.
Abeba also called on government agencies to go beyond issuing flood forecasts and provide alternative arrangements for people living in high-risk areas.
This NEMA and NIMED always giving alert to people has become a threat to the health of our people. We are living in an area that we are prone to flooding. And when these alerts usually come, it will create panic in the mind of the people. If we are telling somebody that fire will engulf your house and you are government, and this is an area that is feeding the nation, and we know that there are measures for emergency issues, then after having alerted them, creating panic in them, you don't make any provision to help them, overcome such a thing, then what is the use?
In other news, PDP chairman in Rivers State, Aaron Chukwuemeka, has been appointed by President Bola Tinubu as the Federal Character Commission chairman in the state. President Bola Tinubu has also appointed Dr. Muhiba Dankaka as the executive chairman of the Federal Character Commission, FCC, for a second 5-year term. The president also named Mohammed Musa as the commission's new secretary and retained Kayode Oladele, representing Ogun, as a commissioner. President Bola Tinubu has approved the reconstitution of the Governing Council and Board of Trustees of the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP, with the Minister of Environment serving as chairman of the council. The other members are Loanhie Victor, who represents the non-governmental organizations focused on the environment, Bright Jacob and Henry Obiabure, who represent the Niger Delta communities. Barinedum Wibere and Baride Wezia are the representatives of the Ogoni community on the new council. The 9 oil-producing states have 2 representatives on the council, Gideon Melford and Ibikunle Omotense. There are 4 alternative members of the council representing the Ogoni land and the Niger Delta. Abraham Olungwe, who was reappointed, and Maiba Ekbobari are the alternate members of the council representing the Ogoni land. Joseph Akedoswo and Beauty Waredronwe represents the Niger Delta. President Tinubu also reconstituted the HYPREP Board of Trustees with Emmanuel Deya reappointed as chairman. Fred Igwe and Fred Bakel will represent the Ogoni communities and stakeholders on the board. Dorcas Amos represents the other Niger Delta communities, while Jide Damasio, who was reappointed, represents the NGOs dealing with environmental issues. Moving on. The Airline Operators of Nigeria, AON, has imposed a no-fly life ban on a female passenger, Comfort Emerson, who allegedly assaulted airline officials on an Ibom Air flight inbound Lagos from Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. The AON, in a statement by its spokesperson Obiora Okonkwo on Monday, said the ban on Emerson from flying with an AON member, either domestically or internationally, for life takes immediate effect. It also said anyone who exhibited such behavior going forward will suffer a similar consequence. Meanwhile, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has directed sanctions against any Ibom Air staff members responsible for leaking the video showing the indecent exposure of a female passenger involved in an onboard altercation. In a statement on Monday, Keyamo said while filming the incident for use as evidence in court was appropriate, releasing footage containing indecent exposure to the public was totally unacceptable. Videos shared on X showed an enraged female passenger attacking a flight attendant on an Ibom airplane and confronting airport security officials. Ibom Air had earlier imposed a travel restriction on the passenger for assaulting some of its cabin crew members. The Ministry of Aviation also announced that the passenger has been charged to court and is currently remanded in the Kirikiri Correctional Facility. Speaking on the development, Keyamo said she was remanded as she could not provide adequate sureties in court. Elsewhere, the EFCC has detained a former governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Tambuwal, for questioning over alleged fraudulent cash withdrawals to the tune of 189 billion naira. The withdrawals are in violation of Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022. Sources within the anti-graft agency said the former governor arrived at the EFCC headquarters around 11 a.m. yesterday and faced interrogators on the alleged financial crime.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
The U.S. and China have extended their trade truce until 10th of November, just hours before the world's two biggest economies were set to hike tariffs on each other. Beijing and Washington, in a joint statement, said triple-digit tariffs that were announced earlier this year will be suspended for another 90 days. Talks last month ended with both sides calling the discussions constructive.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news this morning, you heard that some Rivers indigents have sued President Tinubu, the sole administrator, and RISIEC over the planned conduct of local government elections. The Rivers sole administrator has announced partnership for two key abandoned hospitals. The EFCC has detained former Sokoto State Governor Tambuwal over alleged fraud. AON has imposed a no-fly life ban on air passenger over assault. And on the foreign scene, US and China have extended their trade truce deadline to avoid tariffs hike. The news was edited by Martha Okere. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp message to 0808-721-7215. My name is Ifeemi Andrew. Good morning, and thank you for your time.